Hey everyone, how's it going? Hope you're all doing great. Welcome to another episode of the Lab Report. I know it's been a while since we did a lab report. First of all, I want to welcome everyone to the new site. Finally, it's at the point where I'm not too embarrassed to release it and talk a little bit about it. So if you haven't already checked it out, check out our new site. It's a lot better than what it was. And has a lot of new features, makes the whole viewing experience much better, and also on top of introducing you guys to the new site, I'm also going to be talking a little bit about Rails and why we're going back to Rails Foundation, rebooting that, and then continuing that series as well. Like, I have a really good reason for talking about the relevancy of Rails and why it's still probably one of the best places to start in terms of being powerful enough to build whatever you want, and also introduces someone who's never built a web app before into the best practices and the things that you're going to need to know in order to build a successful web application. So let's take a look at the website. We can see here that it's a whole new look and feel compared to what we had before, and you can see everything is kind of like in one page. You can kind of click through, so you can see the React Intermediate. You can click in to the episodes, and then you can sort. So this is something that was asked for by a lot of our members. So you can sort the playlist by ascending or descending order. You can see the play time over here. You can also see beautiful syntax highlighting. So now we're going to start to go back and rewrite all of the content for the episodes to put in code examples and all that stuff. Also, membership is just $9 a month. Super cheap, very accessible to everybody. So I encourage everyone to check that out. Also become a sign up here for a free account. We also have content for people who sign up for an account. So you don't actually have to pay. So if you check out Docker for Developers, you see it as registered. What that means is you just have to register for an account and confirm your email, and then you get access to watch everything that's in here. So yeah, that's pretty much all I want to cover in terms of the site. Let's take a look at the Rails Foundation. We have, I believe, about 50 or so episodes. Yeah. And basically, we're going to be continuing from this series. And the reason behind that is that, I've been working with clients and working with, helping friends out and all that stuff. And, I'm learning a lot about what's going on in the industry. And, coming from someone who's gone to, I built a whole, this whole site was built using React. And I don't regret the decision to go to React. But I just want to drive home the point here that, in this day and age, Rails is more relevant than ever. And that's because, my time working with clients and friends and, coaching teams, I feel that, I see a lot of gaps in terms of the knowledge, like the best practices and things that, I take for granted just because the fact that I have a Rails foundation. Basic things like, database migrations. Like sometimes I'll go and work with a Node project or a Python project, and they will have just not adopted migrations. And I wonder why, because, in Rails, it's built in and it just works beautifully. And there's other things like, sometimes projects don't even get, assets compilation or minification and all that stuff. And the Rails assets pipeline kind of takes care of all of that. So just basic things like that. And for example, work with some PHP developers, and they don't know anything about background processing and not blocking the web request or anything like that. Like they just, they just let the request take as long as it needs to complete the job. And, they don't understand why that's bad, or some people are still manually writing SQL and they don't understand why that's bad. And it's just all these, a combination of all these issues that just makes me think that, Rails is just more relevant today than ever. Having a framework that's solid and, backed by a team that's solid, and, they keep bringing out the best in terms of tech, like in terms of web technology, making sure that you don't fall behind in terms of security, and making sure that the developer experience is a good one, and that developers are productive and happy, or happy and productive in that order, if it's the Rails motto. So So that's why we're going back to Rails Foundation. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to start off by basically we are going to, upgrade our app. So we have this Rightfully app over here. This is a basic blogging application. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what we're going to cover. So right now it's using Rails 4.5 or 4.2.5.1. So we're going to first go ahead and upgrade that to the latest 4.2. And then once we get it up and running again, I'm going to walk you guys through what we have so far and what we need to do. We need to populate the seed file and stuff like that. Just basically it'll be basically if you inherit a legacy project like this, how would you go about upgrading it to the modern version? So we're going to talk about the tools that are available to us in order to do just that. And then we're also going to cover more concepts. So for example, I'd never covered image uploading. And also we are going to cover background jobs. We're not going to get into heavy JavaScript. So I'm going to keep that for a different Rails series. So this is the Rails Foundation. There's going to be a Rails Intermediate for sure, because we need to cover action cable and active storage and all that fancy stuff, the front end heavy stuff like the stimulus JS. Everything's kind of like Rails is kind of resolved, and now has resolved a lot of issues like Webpackers are not going to become the norm. So we're going to adopt that, and I'm going to show you how to work with a front end heavy Rails app in respect to keeping it within the Rails realm. We're not going to break out to the React. The React stuff, that's going to keep going as well. That's still important. That's going to it's still what I use day in, day out. So, we always eat our own dog food. So, but this is going to be Rails, and it's going to focus on Rails and the Rails Intermediate. It's going to be the Rails front end heavy apps with all the JavaScript that comes bundled with Rails when you boot up a new app. So yeah, with that, I want to wrap up this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed that, and I hope you guys like what I said. If you don't, leave a comment and let me know why you don't like it, and I would be happy to clarify any confusions or misunderstandings or whatever. If you have your opinion, you're entitled to it, and that's great. But for me, Rails Foundation is more important than ever, and we're going to get down into it again. All right, guys. If you haven't seen the new site, check it out. It's pretty cool. Got a lot of new features to make the viewing experience much smoother. And if you have any, issues with streaming or whatever, feel free to reach us through Intercom. When you sign up for an account, you'll be able to reach us through Intercom, and we'd be happy to help you. We're also collecting feedback, so if you have anything you want to let us know, we're happy to hear you out. And with that, I'll wrap up this episode. I'll see you guys in the next one.